Hey, it's Cooley with Flatirons Tuning, and today we're going to talk about brakes. So when you're talking about brake upgrades, the very first steps to that are upgraded pads and, believe it or not, tires. Tires, because they're literally where the rubber meets the road, are a really big part of increasing your car's ability to stop. If you have really aggressive brake pads or a big brake kit, but you don't have enough traction to use all of that stopping force, you're not actually going to gain any benefit for it. So having good tires is a real key piece of the component. But as you go out and you start using your brakes a lot, especially on a road course, the next thing that comes up is heat and heat management. Because no matter what kind of brakes you're using, the more you use them, the harder you use them, you're going to be creating more and more heat. And so if you really want to have those brakes perform at their best every time you hit the brake pedal, you're going to have to do something to manage that heat load. And so what that comes down to is brake ducts. Now for brake ducts, pretty much that's going to be something just for a car that is on the track or more for competition use. Not really something for a daily driver per se, or at a minimum you want to be able to cover them over. But then there becomes another problem of how do you actually run the lines and what do you attach them to. So we've finally been able to put together a lot of pieces so that it actually is a lot easier now than it ever has been to put brake ducts on your Subaru. Part of that is there's a company called Lambert Performance, and they make brackets like this one and like these here so that you can actually, like in this case, take out your fog lights and use the fog light mount to put a brake hose behind it. This is actually for your caliper. This on this GD, this attaches with the bolts for the heat shield. So you remove the heat shield to put this in its place, and as you can see, this is where the brake hose or the cooling duct hose goes to, and so that it feeds that cold air right to the brake rotor. But then the problem that you run into with that when you're running like something like this, which is a 3-inch hose, is how do you route this around so that it's not collapsed and you're not running into the wheel and tire as you're trying to turn. So the new piece to the puzzle that has made it all easier is this. So what is this? This is not a musical instrument. This is actually a Zo6 brake duct. So what this does is, you can see, is this is where the air comes in and then it curves down. This is where your wheel goes. This is how you get all the wheel clearance. And then your brake duct goes straight from here onto your caliper. So to show you that, we're in the process of installing that on this car. And so we're going to show you how much easier this piece makes that puzzle. Oh, and the other thing I should mention too is for brake hose, there's a lot of different options, but Mishimoto has now come out with brake hose that's a really affordable option. So we've got the Lambert ducts, Mishimoto brake hoses, and then the Zo6 Corvette brake ducts. Put all that together, and what we're finding is it makes installing brake ducts on these cars way easier. Okay, so as you saw, so we've got the front duct put in place of the fog light. Here is the duct installed on the knuckle, and as you can see, it's basically right behind the rotor, and it's going to send all that cool air right to the inside of the rotor. So this is how the duct fits. We take everything out, then basically this snugs right up against the fender wall, and then all we have to do is run hose from here to the duct. Now, one tip is when you're measuring the length of this hose, which you want to make sure you do, is turn the wheel to your maximum, to full lock on the outside, so you've got the maximum length of hose, and then let it accordion as you turn it in. Because you don't want to turn to full lock all of a sudden and rip your brake hose off the mount. But yeah, so this is how this works. And what we found is that this skinny piece of plastic just gives you a lot more clearance, and it's almost easier to run this than it is even trying to snake the hose around various different routings so that it still flows straight through and it won't get kinked up. So we'll get it all put together and we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, so move to the other side, which we've already finished. And so here you can see that duct comes through and it runs really pretty darn snug. Even required just basically minimal trimming of the fender liner just to get clearance. And then you can see here the final installation of the brake hose. So yeah, with all this installed, you should have substantially better cooling on the track. Again, Not great for the street car because you don't want to have a lot of debris and stuff coming through here and going right into your rotor. So ideally, if you can like put a cover over it at a minimum when you're not at the track and not using it, that'd be advisable. But no matter what kind of brake system you're running, getting cool air is going to make those brakes work way, way better. And again, now it's easier with all these pieces than it ever has been before. The Lambert Performance Ducts, Mission Motor Brake Hose, and then the Corvette Brake Ducts to actually install it and get almost an OEM looking brake duct. So thanks for watching. If this helped you, please drop a like, and thanks for watching Flatirons Tuning Tech Tips.